Hello, Chamber faithful. I'm Jeremy Field, the Director of Government Affairs for the Boise Metro Chamber of Commerce, and again, we're here for advocacy in action. The legislative activity is starting to come to a focus. We've had a lot of bills introduced. They're starting to pass through committee. We've even had plenty of bills signed by the governor already at this point, and we are continuing, however, to see a few more bills introduced every week, and I wanted to share with you some of the bills that we're supporting this week through the policy committee so that you're up to date on what we're doing, some of the things that we're doing to advocate on your behalf as business owners. Oh, before I go any further, I'd like to thank our media partners, Idaho Statesman, Idaho Ed News, the Idaho Press, as well as Idaho Capital Sun. They allow us to stream on their social Facebook accounts. That helps us with our outreach for this program, and we're very grateful for their support. So without further ado, here are some of the bills that we supported this week in our policy committee. First, we have House Bill 709. It amends existing law to establish the County and City Property Tax Relief Fund. The Chamber supports the legislature's move to go away from state sales tax to provide property tax relief. Representative Mike Moyle, as well as Senator Jim Rice, introduced legislation that won't be going forward any further, legislation that we as a policy committee opposed, that would have increased sales tax 2% in order to bring down property tax fees. A worthy goal. We didn't like that approach. With inflation as it is, we didn't want to see more pain both on consumers but also on our members that are in retail to say, it's even harder to make those purchases that you want to purchase. So we are supporting efforts like Representative Monk's House Bill 709 to help us to address these problems without causing a pinch on the other side of things. So one of the things we need to consider with this, though, is that as legislators move forward, we encourage them to continue to work with municipalities who can see the consequences of adjusting property tax formulas. We still want to keep our cities whole and able to provide the services that we enjoy as citizens. We ultimately love that control be closest to the government, closest to the people, like the municipalities. So with that caveat, we support this bill and hope that as the legislature continues to make reforms to address the rise in property taxes, that we do what's right for both our municipalities and our commercial property owners so that a tax burden isn't shifted from residential and an increased burden is put on our commercial properties. Next, we support House Bill 713. It amends existing law to revise provisions regarding state and local tax treatment for affected business entities. In 2021, House Bill 317 was a SALT workaround that allowed ABEs to elect to pay state income taxes on behalf of their owners, making those tax payments fully deductible at the federal level, just like businesses that are not pass-through entities. Like House Bill 510, this bill also makes the election available to more taxpayers by including fiscal year taxpayers and ABEs with owners that are trusts and estates, so an expansion of that benefit. It differs from House Bill 510 in that it allows tiered pass-through entities to use the election. It also clarifies language used in 510 that allowed ABEs with owners who do not have Idaho income tax liability to qualify for election without charging those members a tax that they do not owe. And finally, it eliminates the unintended multiple imposition of the permanent building fund excise tax erroneously caused by 510, so a taxpayer only pays it once. We, as a chamber, support helping business owners avoid taxes that they do not owe. We supported House Bill 510, and we certainly support House Bill 713 that improves on that initial attempt. So we're all for this one, and we're moving it. We give it a thumbs up. Next, we have Senate Bill 1367. This bill amends, repeals, and adds to existing law to revise reporting requirements for lobbyists and to revise campaign finance requirements for candidates. It also closes a loophole that has allowed political committees that are filed with the Federal Elections Commission to spend significant money on state and local political campaigns in Idaho while avoiding the disclosure of the spending or their donors until months after the election's over. The Chamber supports this bill so our members can enjoy increased transparency in the electoral process. Finally, we support Senate Bill 1883. As a matter of administrative law, Idaho's liquor license code has been broken for a very long time. Idaho's Chambers of Commerce are united in supporting this bill to provide fair and a simple path forward for businesses to compete on a more level playing field. We appreciate Senator Lodge's efforts to bring this legislation forward. She spent the entire session speaking to stakeholders to build consensus and enact sensible reforms. Ultimately, those who have gone through the onerous and broken process of acquiring these licenses can be compensated if they experience a loss as a result in the change of Idaho's policy. That broken process, however, does not justify continuing an unfair regulatory structure at the state level. This is something that the Chamber has advocated for a very long time. We would really like to see that those who would like to get a liquor license for their place of business, they have a full kitchen, they can work through the cities or counties to be able to sell a drink at their establishment, where some of these businesses have been waiting 10, 20, 30 years for these liquor licenses and this administrative process to be fixed. We hope the legislature will take that up and address that in this session. So with that, we are very grateful for your support for Advocacy in Action. As our members, we continue to advocate for policies that make your businesses run better, and we will see you next week.